The music still gives me goosebumps to this day. Dark Souls 1, one of the greatest games that I've ever played. And it just brings back so many humble memories that I love all of them so much. So we're gonna just be a little shit. We're gonna be a dex build. I like dex builds. And we're just gonna do the pretty basic shit. I'm not gonna really customize anything because Dark Souls customization for stuff is just awful, and I can't be bothered to actually make my stuff look good.
The world.
You guys probably already know the lore, so I'm just gonna skip past it all. Who really gives a shit? Now you might be wondering, why the fuck am I killing these guys for 20 souls? And sadly enough, it is. A part of my route on how I actually play this game. So I do very specific routing on how I pick up certain items, do certain things. Because, as you can tell, I chose Thief for the Master Key for obvious reasons, and then the Black Bombs are, of course, for this. There's our little sexy man up top. Come greet me. There you go. Oof. That was rude. Two more. There we go. Literally only do that for the hammer. There's no other reason that I do it. No reason to do it. And then, of course, we can't just leave automatically. So we pick up the best bleed weapon in the game, and then immediately are going to swap out of it once we get the Morning Star Mace. And then we're going to swap out of that immediately once we get the Uchi Katana. Because why else would we use anything but an Uchi? Uchi in all the Dark Souls games has been the most broken and overpowered thing. His whole story is he's a knight. He's cool. He saved us. He believes in us. And then we just kind of move on with our lives. He's also worth 100 souls, so there's no reason not to kill him. If you do eventually come back and you haven't killed him, he does turn hollow. So it's just easier to kill him now than later. I'm also playing in offline mode just because I don't want to deal with the potential God knows what kind of mods people are running and using and abusing kind of things. We greet our favorite two little birds over there. We might see them later if I need certain items. Especially when I come back here to kill the other boss again. And then we set off on our glorious adventure of...
In the ancient legends, it is stated...
the bird literally choosing us to end the world. Or save it, depending on your definition of how the lore works when we become the next leader. So, I'm gonna rest, get right back up, and we'll be right back once I get done picking up everything I need to start this run. This is more or less just for my editor, but just another little fun fact for people who are just coming in just to watch somebody be an idiot and play Souls games, or just, you know, want to learn some Souls info as we go along. So if you look on the ground by this chest, you see this little coil of a chain. If it's facing away from you, so like the loop is closed towards you, means it's an okay chest to open. If it's open towards you, it means it's a mimic, you gotta kill it. So now with all of our items gathered and some souls collected using some cheese methods to get the skeletons to basically roll and throw themselves off cliffs, we can now pop all this for some quick, easy levels. Because essentially, we want enough to be able to wield the Uchi Katana. And then once we can wield Uchi, we'll be pretty much good to go from there. So we need 14 in strength, we'll put 2 into that, and then 1 more into dex to round out our start for at least the first, I don't know, half of our levels. Sorry about that, I had to do a little something real quick, but it's all good. So now we want some bonus souls. This guy should offer 1,000, so we're just gonna murder him because he's a dickhead anyway. There we go. With him dead, we don't have to worry about him being a dickhead to us the rest of the game. And we're just gonna keep these souls even though we can pop out another level, because we have an important task. And our most important task coming up is getting 3,000 souls. Ow. And the reason we want these 3,000 souls is for a very, very simple reason. In Dark Souls 1 and 2, and then to some extent in 3, if I recall correctly. Fuck you, dickhead. Don't you heal in front of me. Ow. You need the ability to repair. In 2, it's a little bit easier. You can repair at a bonfire by just sleeping at it. In this game, you actually need a repair kit or repair powder. Because your weapons don't naturally heal if you happen to die or you just keep doing weapons or dealing damage. And after we buy that item, we don't need anything else from the merchant, who we're going to murder for the Uchi Katana, who will drop the rest of the stuff that we need. It'll pretty much be like the second NPC that we actually murder. Everybody else we don't really need to kill. Mostly because there's no other reason to murder any of the other NPCs. They're pretty useful. He's just the only one. I love that dude. So oddly enough, back when I first started playing in 2011, when I was nothing but a wee lad, an 11th grader, an annoying twat waffle who thought he was the coolest kid ever, I actually used to use that dragon as a as a marker, basically, right? And what I would do is after I got to the part with the bridge, with ow, him doing his little thing, right? I actually used to run up and down the ladder, and I did it for like 5 hours, where I'd run up and down that ladder, let the enemy burn everybody for a quick 550 souls, and I remember exactly how many it is. It's 550. I'd let him do that, so that way I could buy everything that I needed to make the game as enjoyable as possible for me. Because I just over-leveled at that spot, because I couldn't progress past the dragon, because the rat pit is hell on earth. And if you guys have ever played Dark Souls, you know exactly what I mean by that, with the rat pit being just hell on earth. Awesome. So, the one thing we need to buy, like I said, is the repair box, because he doesn't drop it. We don't need the bottomless box, because I'm not going to use any inventory management, and while I would like to get this chain armor stuff, I'm not going to bother wasting souls for it.
Thank you kindly.
So, now is just the time to get rid of him, because he's no longer useful to us. We get everything else that we actually needed from him, and get the Uchi Katana. Now we can put away this weapon and bring out a beautiful Uchi, which we'll be using pretty much until I am ready to go get my Great Scythe. Once I get my Great Scythe, we'll be pretty much golden. Mostly because there was never any reason for me to use Bleed in Dark Souls 1. In, I believe, 2 and 3, there's actually a stat modifier that allows you to increase how often you bleed on a weapon, so it makes it way more viable. Alright. Difficult jump. Oof. That was close. I didn't want our first death of the game to be to gravity already. Knowing my luck, it definitely would be, though. Oh yeah, I set at the bonfire. I will sometimes forget that I have done something, so I'll question why something happened. Oh, nice. Battle axe drop. Would be great if I was going for a strength build right now, though. Shame I'm not, but like I said, I like me some dex builds. Now, I always, no matter what, unhollow myself and kindle this bonfire because it is such a major bonfire to the whole progression through this area, because this entire setup is just awful when you're first coming through. You got Taurus Demon, and then right after Taurus Demon, you have the stupid fucking dragon. Then after that, you have to go through the bullshit that is the boar, and then you have to defeat the gargoyles, and then after you defeat the gargoyles, you got to defeat the fucking Cappy Demon. And a Cappy Demon's not even that hard. It's the fucking dogs in the Cappy arena that make the whole thing just an awful experience. So I should have some bonus souls that I will use real quick to try and pop out some extra levels. Or at least a level, in this case, because I don't have enough. Just so I can get some more damage with my decks. And like I said, if I choose to stick with the Uchi, which I probably won't, it's all good because I'll just be able to swap to a more important thing later on, which is just going to be the Great Scythe. Which is really a shame that after this game, they make all the scythes in Dark Souls 2 and 3, and I think even in Elden Ring, none of them are dex-based anymore. They're all faith or int based. It's a real shame. I really fell in love with the Great Scythe and fell in love with Dark Souls as a whole because of that weapon. Because I love unconventional weapons in video games that are just like stupid fun to use. Like, you know, broken sword runs. Those are always a fan favorite of mine. If you guys like to see me do one of those, or even do a what are they called? Broken sword hilt run, because I know that the sword hilt is significantly weaker in this game, and I don't think I've seen anybody do a run with it. I'd love to give it a shot. Also, anytime I kick, it's completely unintentional. I don't know how to kick. I never did. Shields were the bane of my PvP existence, just because I didn't know how to kick people. In this game, though, you didn't even need to know how to kick. Honestly, the game basically held your hand through the whole thing. You just had to wait for somebody to do an attack animation, and then you just walked behind them and backstabbed. If I get any sort of luck, maybe I'll showcase it on one of the shield guys coming up here soon. Then another beautiful thing about the Dark Souls games is they give you every means necessary to progress. So as you saw, we got some fire bombs, some pine resin, and then walk behind. I didn't get it, but that's okay. Might get it on this guy. Problem a lot of it is just not being able to get people in the appropriate area with the shields to be able to just spam the walking behind them. Yep. And that's Dark Souls 1 PvP in a nutshell. Special to Habble Daddy users. Or not Habble Daddy, Big Daddy, or Giant Daddy. Giant Daddy is what it was. Always forget the name. Speaking of Habble Daddy, he's downstairs, and as much as I'd like to take him out right now, I definitely don't have the stats to try and stat check him. That is the first time I've ever gotten hit by an arrow going up this ladder. I always had iframes when I played, but it's just the unfortunate. So I'm gonna fireball him a couple of times to get him low, so that way I could just drop a nuke on his head. Ow, that hit. Oh, it hit him. Fuck, I wasted a firebomb. Unlucky. Didn't even need to jump down and jump on his head. So that's a nice part. For me, at least. Taurus Demon always gave me trouble, so using these little cosmetics always helps out a little bit. I've never been one to use them in a full aspect. Now we gotta come say hello to the best character design in the entire game. Even though he's only gonna give me something that's for online play, but he is the sun, bro. He praises the jolly cooperation. We'll probably do his questline. Not because of anything special, but just because I like Solaire. Solaire's one of the few people that I could actually stomach throughout the entirety of Dark Souls content. The other person being Havel, of course. You gonna blow fire again? Can I just run down this bridge then? Oh shit. I got jebaited so fucking hard. I should have went and kicked the ladder. Alright, be right back then. Alright, so we gathered our souls, we kicked down the ladder, we're back. So next we're just gonna pump a lot into dexterity. Right out the get-go. Get that to 20. We're basically gonna want to rush that to 45, which I believe was the soft cap in OG Dark Souls. And I think it's the soft cap for most of the Dark Souls, except for like Elden Ring, because it's just a little bit rough. So I don't want to go through this downward passage here. I'm actually going to try and bait through the dragon's breath. There we go. It's been a little slow to get those dragon's breath. And then we're going to wait for him to drop down, and then we're just going to run past and get that bonfire that's right under there. Second I see him move, we're going to move. Because we don't want to get hit by a breath attack that drops down on us. There we go. Thankfully I didn't get the stun. Perfect. Pull this lever. And then we avoid the unnecessary bullshit that is down below, because I don't want to deal with it. I don't remember how I get access to the Sunbro Covenant, but I know this is where you get access to it. Maybe I need to be able to praise the sun. Alright. This should be a... Nope. I do have a soul, though. I have a couple, actually. Should be able to pump me up another dex point. And then it'll save me some extra. So as you can see, that gate is actually open. That is not supposed to be like that. Thankfully, the person that's supposed to do that running animation got cucked. Oh shit. Speaking of cuck. And he doesn't trigger the gate closing. Wait, what? It's closed now? Oh shit, maybe he ran past me, I didn't notice it. Or maybe it just didn't load in properly. Alright, so the boar is a really annoying thing, and I don't like fighting it. Especially because I have to fight it later. Oh, shit. So, we're gonna make some ham. So we're just gonna... Boop. The fuck happened to it? Oh. Alright, do it again. Hopefully not as close to the wall this time. I still threw it a little bit too close, but that's okay. Huh. I've never seen its AI freak out like that. Maybe I could try and sneak up behind it and stick my sword in its butt. There we go. That's only got a little bit of HP left. Perfect. It's a shame it didn't drop its helmet. I actually like the boar helmet. It's a very nice little helmet. And then comes the biggest crossroad. So this place is another one that I will probably kindle to 20 just because of how annoying this whole section is going to be. And then our best boy ever, Mr. Andre. Sadly, I have not found any Titanite shards. That's unfortunate. I could buy them and for some upgrades, or I could buy these to reinforce at a thing, but I would choose not to just because I'll be mostly doing my own thing.
I'll be seeing you there.
So normally I'd be all for levels. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to purchase 4 of these. And then I should be able to reinforce my Uchi twice. And then once I get a couple more souls, unless I have some souls in my pocket, I have enough to take it to a +3. Which is perfect. This out at a +3, it's going to do some semi-decent damage until I can get some other stuff going for it and get it to a +5, and then eventually just keep upgrading it. But for now, let's do 2 of these. Let's reverse our Halloween. And then kindle this bad boy. Gentleman's agreement. Gentleman's agreement. There we go. Less Titanite that I'll eventually need to buy. Get our first Firekeeper soul. Now, Firekeeper souls are basically souls of Firekeepers. They're used for honing essences and a few other things. And the best thing to do is just find yourself a Firekeeper and then have it reinforce your stuff. So now it gets a +1. It means it'll just heal me a little bit more when I start chugging. So that way I don't get my ass handed to me and die. Now, this guy is the worst guy in the entire game. He's such a fucking dickhead. So he'll eventually go back to the shrine at the very start of the game, and we're going to have to go take care of him before he kills our Firekeeper. But he drops the best ring in the entire game, the Ring of Favor and Protection, I believe is what it's called. So we're going to go back to the little hub world, and then we're going to rest there, so it'll refresh the world that we're in and change it, so that way he's down there. We'll murder him real quick with a couple good kicks to the face, or, well, in my case, since I'm not very good at actual kick inputs, I'm going to just simply murder him with the Uchi, because the bleed buildup on the Uchi is pretty quick. As long as you can get a few swings in. And here he is, eyeing our Firekeeper. There we go. He also drops a huge fuck ton of humanity. I'm assuming he drops 5 because that's how many Firekeepers he's killed. So, boost HP, stamina load, and how much you can carry, and then it breaks when you're removed, and we never remove it. So it just is a permanent buff, and it is one of the best buffs in the game besides the Grass Crush Shield, which eventually we'll be wearing. And then there's going to be other items that we're definitely going to be putting on. Now, a smart idea would probably be to level this to +5 immediately before I go and fight this next boss. But I'm feeling pretty confident that I should be able to clear through it with relative ease. And of course, we're not doing any summons. Even though it is Solaire, I love the boy to death. But, can't. Also, beautiful little nod that I don't see a lot of Dark Souls players talk about is the fact that that gargoyle's missing its tail. It's a little subtle hint that you can cut off the enemy's tails to get items. Or they could just be cut off in general. So basically, anything in Dark Souls 1 that you see with the tail, just cut it off. And you'll get some awesome reward, whether it's a weapon, a ring, or some other really amazing item. You just gotta kind of play patient with it. Oh, hitbox. Ow. Rude. And just like that, one hit, take it off. And then of course, if I were to die here, I still get the weapon, but he grows his tail, so you can get another one. Ooh, I also got the helmet. Nice. That was a pretty lucky drop. Gotta love how iframes work in Dark Souls. That's an unfortunate... What? First? Second death? I don't know. One of the two. Man! What are the fucking odds, dude? The RNG on just like the hit animations. I got another helmet. Fire. Man, that is embarrassing, dying to gargoyles twice. I don't even want to talk about that. I don't want to even acknowledge that that happened. And the first bell has been rung. The world shall know that Cinder Ash is coming for its fucking butt cheeks. And next up on the chopping block is gonna be Quelog's bitch ass. Well, not really. I have to get through the Kappa Demon and the fucking Gaping Dragon to get into Blighttown, and then I could kill Quelog's bitch ass. But you know what I mean. We got a hot minute till we get there.